If you've been doing all the right things and still aren't seeing the outcome that you hoped for, this is not about missing one more tip. And it's also not because you're not trying hard enough. Most of the people this video is for are already doing more than enough. They're tracking, supplementing, testing, optimizing. And if effort alone worked, you wouldn't still be here. So I want to talk about something different. And it's not about what you're doing wrong, it's what often has not been addressed yet. Before I list anything, we need a lens because lists, especially in fertility, can quietly turn into self criticism. So here's the frame for this entire video that sits inside. Fertility isn't an outcome, it's a state. It's not something that you force in a single cycle. It's something that actually emerges when the body has enough capacity. Capacity is built over time. And without it, even perfect protocols don't land. So, with that in mind, here are 7 of the most common and often invisible reasons that couples stay stuck even when they're following sound fertility advice. The first reason is that many people are optimizing symptoms instead of building baseline health. Protocols can quiet symptoms and they can help normalize numbers. They can make everything look better, but quiet signals don't always mean resolved physiology. So when your symptoms are masked before the baseline health is even established, this is where clarity gets delayed and you can't understand why your body is actually not producing the outcome and the results for the work that you're putting in. So if your body is communicating and that communication is being overridden, it can be really confusing. And it's not that it's wrong, it's just incomplete. Number 2, the second reason is focusing on only one cycle instead of the last several months. Ovulation doesn't reflect what happened this month alone. It actually reflects long-term inputs. This includes energy availability, your stress load, inflammation, how well you're recovering. So eggs mature over time, and in fact, it takes 120 days, so 4 months, for a single follicle to mature. So one cycle doesn't erase months of depletion. Your cycle is a report card, but it's reporting more than just the last 30 days. The third reason is that the nervous system hasn't felt safe long enough to actually shift. Now, when we're talking safety here, it's not a mindset. This is a physiological state. Fertility responds to regulation, not pressure, not stress. And when your body is bracing from urgency or from constant monitoring or from the fear of the time is running out, it stays oriented into and towards that survival state. So signs of this can include if you are having poor quality sleep, if you feel that wired but tired energy, if you're hyper fixated on cycles, or even difficulty resting even when you want to. The body doesn't move into creation while it's still preparing for a threat. Reason number 4 is adding support without removing the drains. You cannot out supplement a poor lifestyle, so supplements cannot override chronic stress, sleep debt, undernourishment, overextension. More input doesn't automatically equal more capacity. The more water you're putting in that bucket, those holes are still there and water is draining out of them. If that system is still leaking energy, the bucket is not going to fill. So it's not about doing less, it's about actually changing those drains and putting into place balance. Number 5 is treating fertility as a monthly event instead of a cumulative state. We touched on this before, but fertility is cumulative. Fertility, it's not a performance. Your health compounds. Depletion compounds too. So one good month doesn't undo years of survival mode. It takes time. Capacity builds slowly and often quietly, which is why it can be easy to miss when you're watching for only outcomes. The sixth reason is relying on normal labs to tell the whole story. So your labs will show presence, and yes, they are a helpful piece of the puzzle, but they don't show how your body responds. They don't show resiliency. They don't show your body's ability to adapt. They don't show recovery. So you can have normal hormone levels and still have poor communication between your systems. And this is why so many people, and maybe even yourself, has felt confused or gaslit when everything looks fine on paper, but nothing is changing in the body. Finally, the seventh reason is assuming that something is wrong before a true baseline has ever been established. Baseline health is often skipped entirely. We go to quick fixes to put out that fire and to put out that fire. But without a baseline, it's impossible to know whether the body is delayed or dysfunctional. And this matters because sometimes there was never a problem to fix, only capacity to rebuild. And that distinction changes everything. So instead of asking, why isn't this working yet? A more helpful question becomes, what would actually increase my capacity right now? Not what can I add, not what can I optimize, but what would help my body feel more resourced, more regulated, more supported? For some of you, the next step is simply changing how you live, whether that's sleep, how you nourish yourself, your pace of life, focusing on nervous system regulation, giving your body the space to communicate more clearly. And for others, you may be realizing, oh, you don't want to guess anymore. This is the foundation that we teach inside of our fertility programs, establishing baseline health first, supporting both partners, and building true capacity before chasing the outcomes. Now, both paths are valid, but the goal is the same: to stop forcing fertility and start creating the conditions where your body can respond.